find it hard to forgive. Just because it's easier to hold on doesn't mean it's good for me. Looking for a sense of control, but it's letting my pain define me. It's getting in the way of who I actually wanna be. It's never too late to change. Let go, never look back. Don't wanna be a prisoner of my past anymore. So I'll free my soul, keep moving forward. Forgive what's hurt to me, focus on my future. I've got one life, wanna make it count. Accept the past, gotta love myself. So I'll free my soul, keep moving forward. Even when it isn't my fault, gotta own my side of the story and take all the lessons I learned with me. Lost time never comes back, so why do I keep playing it in my head when it takes away from the joy of who I am today? It's never too late to change. Let go, never look back. Don't wanna be a prisoner of my past anymore. So I'll free my soul, keep moving forward. Forgive what's hurt to me, focus on my future. I've got one life, wanna make it count. Accept the past, gotta love myself. So I'll free my soul, keep moving forward. It's easy to get stuck in the past, but no one should stay there forever. Don't wanna miss out on new memories. So I'm gonna forgive and find out who I'm supposed to be. So I'll free my soul, keep moving forward. Forgive what's hurt to me, focus on my future. I've got one life, wanna make it count. Accept the past, I love myself. So I'll free my soul, keep moving forward. So keep moving forward. Forgive what's hurt to me, focus on my future. I've got one life, wanna make it count. Accept the past, gotta love myself. So I'll free my soul, keep moving forward. You're not alone. Don't be afraid to be different. Let your colors show. You should be proud that you're not the same. The world would be darker without your flame. It's okay to be different. It's great to be different. Let your colors show.
Good morning. Hello, everyone.
Good morning. Morning to
Good
everyone.
morning, Sister Isha. Good morning, everyone.
We're looking for you, Sister Fatima.
Beg your pardon?
There we go. Great. So welcome today. I hope you guys are all enjoying your little practices and experimenting and thinking. So today we're going to speak about acceptance, and perhaps just to kind of put the context in, If you look at a tree, and if you look at what eventually we want out of a tree will be fruit. But for that fruit to eventually become the outcome, there's a seed that is sacrificed. There's roots that have to work very hard and get embedded into the earth. There's a trunk that has to support huge trunks. And then there's a variety of twigs that have to spread themselves out so that leaves can actually be there. And then these enormous amount of leaves that must create the food and sustenance so that finally we get flowers and fruit. And so what we generally eat is the fruit, but actually for that fruit to be something that we receive, there's a lot of things that are in play. And so that just gives me a beautiful image about life in its full sense, that, what we see as an outcome may not necessarily actually be the success story, but it's actually to be able to appreciate all the little things that goes with it. And to know that actually, it's maybe the real sense of the word Ubuntu. I exist because you exist. That fruit exists because every other part of the tree actually exists. So I'm throwing the ball in your court, sisters.
You go ahead, Sister Fatima.
No.
Was this a curveball?
Okay. Yes, I like the title of today's theme, acceptance.
Mm.
And when I think of acceptance, I always think of understanding, because I think without understanding, we can't truly accept. We may say that we accept something, but we need to truly accept from deep in the heart. And when we looked at the cycle of time, what it did for us was it created a big picture, a greater context for our whole experience in the physical dimension. And that is what brings understanding. And then we are able to see this extraordinary tree of humanity, or let's say of the human family. And as Sister Usha beautifully described, you cannot say that any part of that tree is unimportant. So what does that do for us? It helps us to come to that point where we see the significance of everyone and everything that happens in our physical world. Now, as we said yesterday, when winter comes, we don't say, why is it winter? We know, we understand, and we accept. And so when we're looking at this tree of humanity and seeing the importance of everything from the seed right through to the fruit, and then we're able to accept with deep understanding that everything is accurate. And even the huge challenges that we may be facing in the form of relationships or circumstances, situations, many things are happening and continue to kind of become stronger in our world at the moment. So how do I truly accept that with understanding, knowing that yes, it is the winter of human experience, but winter has its important part to play. And then I can look around me, and instead of being critical, which is just so easy at the moment to be critical of politicians and organizations and industry, so easy just to point fingers. But when we keep that bigger picture in our consciousness, we're able to deeply accept that this is where we are, but the fruit is the end result. And in a way, it's an extremely positive perspective because it is based on the truth. So I'll leave it there.
It was quite a very deep way of unpacking the whole thing, and it makes a lot of sense. But what was coming to my mind as you were talking goes back to the word acceptance, and the fact that we as human beings, sometimes I think we're not aware that we're in the winter of life, in a sense. And we see everything wrong, but not realizing that the things that seem to be wrong to us are happening. They are right because they are happening at the right time for those things to happen. And that was what was resonating with me as you were talking. And that when you understand that, then acceptance of what is going on around you becomes very, very easy.
I think one of the things that I'd like to emphasize is that, we can always live a life where we kind of make a little niche for ourselves and we think, well, I've got in place. And then I start creating a very controlled environment for myself, which is actually what happens with individuals, is that when the world becomes too unlimited and too expanded, then actually we don't realize that we get insecure and frightened. So that's why if you look at the way we dwell at the moment, there's no huge extended families, but everyone is living in small little apartments, which they can control. They can have complete right over and power. They don't have to ask anybody. They don't have to tell anybody. And it's telling us that when people live like that, they're actually keeping themselves away from others because they are not secure enough. They don't feel safe enough. And so what the world is really experiencing at the moment is a state of insecurity. But there's a very beautiful story I'd like to share with you with the founder of our organization. So when he started teaching these revolutionary ideas, and especially empowering women, the community of Sindh at that time were very threatened. And so they decided that the only way they can actually sort this out is to kill the founder of the Brahma Kumaris. At that time, he was called Dada Lekhraj, or how we call him Brahma Baba. And so a guy was actually paid to go and kill him. And Brahma Baba's whole being was of being a very peaceful, loving being. And as a teacher of spirituality, treated everyone as a spiritual child of God and stuff like that. So even in his sleep, because he was, a yogi, what happened is that this person went with a knife and went right next to Brahma Baba. And all he was about to do was to kill him, to actually stab him because he was lying on his back. But what happened is that as he did this, the vibrations from Brahma Baba's body even was coming out, was so beautiful that he had a vision of the person he worshipped as a deity. And he got such a shock and thought, who am I killing? Because it was that his virtuous qualities created such a lovely vibration that it reminded him of his spiritual roots. So then the knife actually fell down because he got shocked. And the line that Brahma Baba shares, he says that there's only protection in virtue, which means that for us at the moment, we are insecure because we have actually in a way moved away from that which is our core value. So now, instead of being protected because we are truth, we are finding protection in dwellings, in people, in securities, in alarm systems, in all of those things. But the beautiful thing to realize is that, and it goes a little bit with our understanding of karma, when I've only thought good things, spoken good things, and acted good things, I'm completely secure that what comes to me will only be good. And so that naturally brings a kind of security in knowing that my good is what actually protects me. And so when I look at the tree, what it makes me understand is that for us to coexist again like a tree of humanity is for each of us to step back into our true power and know our truth, recognize ourselves, not in relationship to somebody else, but in the basis of understanding that I myself am good and I value who I am. And then if I step into my right position, I will then just complement everyone else that I'm working with. Then I'm completely safe. I feel secure. I'm not competing. I'm not comparing. I'm not criticizing. And guess what? We could then have that kind of existence where we would say it's the true Ubuntu. My existence cooperates with the existence of others, and we all exist together to be happy.
I am because we are.
That's it.
Therefore, since we are, I am.
Mm. So I'm not negating anybody. I'm not criticizing. I accept myself, and then I accept everyone else.
Sister Usha, it's so interesting that you raised this thing of security, because I always feel that even beyond love, security is the greatest need, actually, of a human being. And often, if we are insecure, it brings out the worst in us. But if we are secure, it brings out the best. And, you know, from a spiritual perspective, if we look at the physical dimension, what we know about it is that change is guaranteed. Everything in our physical world is in a constant flow of change. And to base one's security on that which is ever changing is not a very sensible thing to do. And so where should our security come from? So that we can actually bring out these virtues that you're talking about. And, you know, we talk about truth, and how do we define truth? I like to see truth as that which is unchanging. So truth exists actually beyond our physical dimension. It is the truth of our existence as spiritual beings, as souls. It is the truth that we have a home. We are not homeless. And we have a parent. And so when we start to develop our sense of security from that which never changes, that which is eternal, then it doesn't matter what is happening at the physical. It's not going to impact our sense of security. In the physical world, if we're dependent on physical things to make us feel secure, sometimes we will feel secure, and then we will fluctuate. And that's the story of many, many of our lives. So just really coming into this deep awareness of what truth actually is, and then that sense of security. From there, love is so natural. Peace is natural. To be kind, to be compassionate. when you're secure, all of this flows without you even thinking about it, actually.
In fact, when you use this word, the qualities that emerge from that acceptance, it's, for me, love and acceptance are so close together, because when I have acceptance, it really means I'm close enough to that person not to create a divide, whether it's, and not, it's not about you just blindfoldedly say yes, it's about even the differences I accept, because I know that if you look at the tree again, the roots go completely against the sun, they go underground. But if the roots decided, no, I want to be like the branches and I want to see the sun, we're not going to have a tree. And so even in that very physical direction in which the roots work from the branches, they're actually cooperating with each other, because we accept that the differences is there, but they are actually working for the same purpose. And I think that's the beauty about acceptance, is to have the motivation of why we are what we are. And that we don't all have to act like robots and all be clones of each other. We really have that absolute opportunity to be the self, the real being, and then add this beauty to this world of ours.
I just love that you brought in the word Ubuntu into the understanding of the tree. And in a very beautiful way, it describes the whole physical appearance of the tree, in that when the roots go deep underground, they bring up the water that feeds every section of the tree. And every part of the tree gets to live because the roots went underground. And in the concept of Ubuntu, there is always the respect of the human being, always respecting the living being.
Fatima, I'm just thinking, can you put your camera off for a little while, because your internet seems to be dragging.
It's actually okay from this side, Usha. I think yours is not very
It may be
good.
mine, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ubuntu is really that concept of being part of this tree, of being the branches of the tree, of being the stem of the tree and everything, and all feeling that relationship of being one, that oneness. And hence, when you were talking about Ubuntu, I said, I am because we are. Because if you did not exist, how would I exist without you? And so I was just loving this whole comparison of the tree to the qualities of Ubuntu in that way. Thank you.
What I've enjoyed a lot about my study of Raj Yoga is that it has connected me to the main understanding of how all religions work. It's for me, this spiritual study is not about a religion on its own, but it has taken up all the main concepts of truth in the world and brought them together in a way so that we live a life of value rather than a life of ritual. And so I'm quite sure that when we open this topic out, we would find in our own scriptures, in our own language, different ways and traditions, these concepts of coming together and being close. And I think this is what we need to start embracing, to get away from the things that divide us, but come together in the virtues that actually make us strong. Because it's in this strength that we'll overcome the greed, the negativity of the world, which is in a way like a virus that has taken over. And so the only strength we have is to become united once again in our core values, and then create that quantum change, or that reach the critical mass where we can allow peace and love to reign again. But we have to be collective in that.
Rain again. I like that. It's like the rain that falls on the tree and makes the tree healthy. Yeah. Shall we have some meditation, sisters?
I think we should give Fatima a chance this morning.
Thank you. After such a nourishing conversation, I think we should just sit back and digest the concept of the tree. The beginnings of the tree are in the seed. And the type of tree that is going to emerge is already designed within the seed. And for the tree to grow, it has to feed on the seed first before the tree shoots and appears above the ground, leaving the roots, which also emerge from the seed below the ground, to continue to feed the tree so that the tree grows. It is the love that's contained in the seed that gives birth to the shoot. It is the love that's in the seed that will soak up the rainwater through the roots and feed the tree to make it grow. When we begin to understand that we are all one, we belong to one, and that we are the creation of that one. When we understand that our innate qualities and the qualities of the one who is the creator are one, this oneness soars from the roots up the stem to the branches and feeds every single leaf with that understanding that we are one. We belong to one. When we belong, we are able to accept one another, and that acceptance or acceptance brings about the strength which continues to keep us tied together in that oneness. We are one. We belong to one. And we are the tree that was created by the Supreme Creator Himself. Let us take this into our, not just our minds, but into our hearts, that we're living at a time when we need to bring back those qualities, those innate qualities of knowing that we are all one and we belong to one, and that we should spread that love out into the universe so that we can change the atmosphere we can change the direction of our lives and take it towards the light, towards greatness, towards love, the power that unites everybody. Let us not forget at all times to remember the one who is the seed, the creator of this tree. And let us not forget the innate qualities that he has given us that will help us to continue to maintain this oneness, this power of knowing that we are all related and we all belong. So as we leave this space today, let us take these qualities with us and take them out there to everyone that we meet, and realize that I, the soul, am meeting my brother who is a soul, and that we souls, all of us, are the children of the Creator, the one God, and that umuntu, abantu, we are one. Om Shanti. Thank you.
So today's message and practice. Sister Belinda, I'm just thinking, it sounds noisy from my side. Do you want to read perhaps?
Actually, it improved. I think you can go ahead, Ushavi.
Okay. So acceptance, understanding and valuing my own special part. I have the power to recognize the value of each individual. With this awareness, I accept each person for who they are and free myself from expectations and experience my own independence, from blame and take responsibility to change myself, from judging and accept whatever is happening. So lovely things to do when we are feeling empowered ourselves. We stop looking at others and we really then become free. So let's enjoy. Have a beautiful day. You're most welcome to unmute and say hi, bring your voice into the group. And definitely if there's any questions, please do post them. You can also use the WhatsApp chat to ask any questions if you want any further clarification.
Thank you, Sister Usha, for the beautiful session. I enjoyed very much. Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you, Fatima. Sister Fatima.
Thank
And
you.
Sister Belinda. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister. Invitation, and
Thank you,
all.
sisters.
Thank you.
Usha.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sisters.
sister. Om
Thank you,
Shanti.
Sister
Have a nice day.
Om Shanti. Bye-bye.
Hi.
Thank you, Sister Usha and Sister Belinda and Sister Fatima. A very interesting topic and a difficult one. Thank you for your analogies. It was very good. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, sisters.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, sisters. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, all sisters.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Hi.